More on the foibles and failures of Tim Geithner. We have CNBC contributor Larry Bossidy back. Of course, he's former chairman and CEO of Honeywell. We have Art Laffer of Laffer Investments, and we have CNBC contributor Jeffrey Sonnenfeld of the Executive Leadership Institute at the Yale School of Management. Mr. Sonnenfeld may be the only capitalist in New Haven. Hello, everybody. Great to see you. Jeff Sonnenfeld, let me begin with you. Let me play this sound. This is a tape from Geithner talking about how difficult the world is. Take a listen to this.
The causes of this crisis are many and complex.
We're not going to put out details until we are confident that we've got the right structure that's going to achieve these objectives.
We're going to be coming to you with proposals for the changes that are going to require legislation. That's going to be a complicated, difficult process. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be messy. This is a challenge more complex than any challenge our financial system has faced.
When this guy was in the cradle, the first words he must have learned in the English language was complex. He uses it in every sentence. And when he doesn't use that, complicated, difficult, messy, complex, difficult, complex. You know, Jeff Sonnenfeld, the last time I heard the world is too complex and difficult to solve was Jimmy Carter. This is before Reagan proved him wrong. Is Geithner really up to this job?
Yeah, I think not, Larry, and I think for many reasons. And it's an interesting parallel you draw back to Carter. Carter still insists he never used the word malaise, but neither did Geithner, and that was definitely a malaise speech, a malaise opening, and it's always fun to be on with you. Of course, with Art Laffer and Larry Bossidy is quite daunting, because on this exact topic is an area of great expertise for them. And that this guy, you say cradle, yes, from his cradle, everything has gone so smoothly for Tim Geithner. He's a, an Ivy League trained guy, went to work for Kissinger Associates, a lot of bureaucratic jobs in the Treasury, senior Treasury posts, and, and things come his way. His father was a senior official in the Ford Foundation who knew Obama's mother very distantly, glancing encounter in Indonesia.
Yeah, but Bob
Rubin's protege, everything's come to him.
A guy that tells me, look, let me just intersperse. Somebody who's always telling me the world is too complex for me to explain it to you, which is essentially what he was doing.
It's complex, Larry, but another part of it is how bad things are. He didn't just say it's complex. Is that there's great work in West Point right now. They do research called in extremis leadership. If you're in a genuine crisis, you don't need to motivate people. You don't need to give them scare stories.
That's where I'm
They're
going.
Already motivated.
There's a certain arrogance to it, Art Laffer, that he's looking down his nose and saying, you all don't understand, the world's too complex, complicated, and difficult. But there may also be, maybe he doesn't understand it well enough to explain it to the rest of us, Arthur.
I think he's scared to death, Larry. I think he's caught in the spotlight. And frankly, I think right out with the hearings and all the problems he had getting appointed, I think the poor man's really scared and doesn't understand it and doesn't know how to handle it.
Doesn't understand it. Doesn't know how to handle it. And you don't approve of the program anyway, even if he could, if he had details.
Not only is the program wrong, I mean, done poorly, it's wrong. It shouldn't be done at all. It just makes no sense. I don't know if you saw the quote from Bob Barrow today in the Wall Street Journal, but that is the correct quote. That's the way to do it. Tax rate reductions do make a difference. This stuff is just going to hurt the economy.
Larry Bossidy, you think Geithner is on the right track, don't you?
I think you guys are way too hard on him. Remember, his boss teed him up on Monday night with the word comprehensive. He never said it. The TARP 1 was criticized because it was done too quickly. It was applied inconsistently. They took different directions every other week. I think this guy's trying to get a program that he can follow over time. And given the stimulus bust, this is going to be a critical artery to the recovery in the country.
Do you want
he said how much money that he said how much money he's willing to devote to these things. He's soliciting opinion as to how to attract private capital. He's going to put $50 billion into mortgage mitigation. I think this is going to be a good program. You got to give him a little time. He's only been there 2.5 weeks.
Well, Arthur, okay, the great Larry Bossidy is defending the program, and Geithner, Art. You don't like the program?
Well, I love Larry Bossidy, and I think he's one of the best guys going. So let me just say, with great respect, Larry, I disagree with you totally. I think the longer they spend on this, the more mess they're going to make of it. It is a catastrophe in the happening. It's a train wreck, and these guys don't know what they're doing. And if they just stop doing something and let markets get to work, it would solve itself a lot better.
You know, Jeff Sonnenfeld, This is like more TARP money. By the way, the bankers today said they didn't want any more TARP money, which I think is fascinating. So I'm starting to think that Geithner's going to give them what they don't want. That's point number one. And point number two, Jeffrey, this is creeping nationalization of banks. That's what this is, and it is something to be devoutly avoided.
He's not in control of it. There's no comprehensive plan as to how this fits together with TARP, with the economic stimulus plan. What we need is somebody to tell us what the details are, but also what's the promised land going to look like when we get there, whether or not it's, Nicholas Biddle, Alexander Hamilton, Bob Rubin, Greenspan. There's always somebody with a voice of clarity, J.P. Morgan. This guy's not it. You want to know who could do a great job here? It would have been Jamie Dimon. Just look at how transcendently brilliant and simple.
I would like to know what the generalities are of these programs and how they can even work.
I got to get out.
Sorry, Larry.
Bossity,
Be patient, boys.
Jeff Sonnenfeld, you guys
patient.
are all great. Thanks ever so much.